Hi, this is Simon Bailey from Portable Scientific. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create notes and export templates on your Vanta Generation 1 XRF. The first thing you will need is the Vanta desktop software. I'm sharing my screen with you. I've already gone ahead and installed the Vanta desktop software. If you don't have access to the Vanta software, please contact myself, and my email address is at the start and at the end of this video. When we connect our Vanta to our computer via the USB cable, you will get the serial number, the address 192.168.7.2. If you have it connected, as I have, to the common Wi-Fi network that your PC is connected to, you also have the option of connecting wirelessly. I'm going to connect today via the USB cable, so I simply click on the serial number of the instrument. I log in as normal. Once we've logged in, you'll have this option at the top of the screen to access the Fleet Manager. If you don't click on that, that will withdraw, and then you'll find that to access that, you just need to click on the home icon on the top left, and that will bring that back for a few seconds. So we need to be in Fleet Manager in order to create a template. So the first thing we need to do is create a new profile for our Vanta. So I'm going to go ahead and create one. I click on the plus sign, and I'm going to call this training. Once I've created that, you'll see I have a couple of logins. This instrument will send the data to this desktop software. So what logins are already on my instrument. So we don't need to play around with the users here, administrator or client. We need to go to templates. And these are the existing notes and export templates that are on my instrument. So if I wish to create a new notes template, I simply click on the plus sign. Again, I'm going to call this training. And I now add my notes fields to my template. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a field called sample ID. So I click on the plus, I call it sample ID, and I choose what type the notes template is, whether it's a text to accept alphanumeric strings, an auto increment, a fixed list, or a barcode. So I'm just going to create a text field for this one. And you can select whether you want the data to remain after each test or to be cleared after each test. So I'm going to leave it as remain after each test. I'm going to create a second field. I'm going to call this depth from. This is going to be an auto increment field. So I click on that. And you can see here, when we go into the notes template on our instrument later on, we have the option of creating our start value and our step value as well. I can create another field called depth 2 and make that auto increment as well. And then finally, I wish to be able to analyze my standards in the field. I have blanks, I have Aureus standards. Rather than having to type them in, I'm going to create a fixed list that I can choose from. So I'll call it standards, fixed list. And all I need to do now is create the elements for my fixed list. So there's a little plus sign on the top right. We click on that. When we're not using the CRMs, my default will be none, blank. And in this case, I have Aureus 1, 2, 3. Once you're happy with the notes template, you can simply back out of it using the back arrow on the bottom left corner of the screen. And you can see now this template is added into the notes, templates, training. It's ready to be deployed to the instrument. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and create an export template. So I click on export. Again, these are all the existing templates. I can create a new template. I will also call this training, and we can base it on an existing template. Just choose one that's most relevant, in this case, geochem. And now it's just simply a case of going through each of these broad categories and selecting or deselecting the fields that you want included. So in this case, I don't want these fields. I do want date and time. In my chemistry, I want to remove compounds. And with mine, I also want to include CalCheck. With my notes, I want that to appear immediately before the basic result. So I click on that and I drag that up, click and hold and drag it up, and it's now repositioned. Same as the notes templates. Once you're happy with the existing template, and you can go back in and edit it later on, we back out of that. If I was to edit any of my templates, I just select the template and click on the little pencil icon, which is the edit button. Now that I'm happy with the templates, I can back out of that again. I have my training profile, which I now wish to deploy to my instrument. And this paper airplane icon is deploy, so I can click on that. It will restart my XRF. Once it's restarted, I can log back in. And now if I go to Navigator, which is where I do my analysis, or I can be on the touch screen itself, I can simply go into the notes. This is where I can choose my new template. And this is where you would change your step size and starting point for auto increment. So I can click on this and I can say I'm starting at meter 30 and I would like it to increment by 1. Same with depth from, that might be 29, increment by 1. Oh, I've got them both named. So sorry, one should be depth from and one should be depth to. I can edit that. Let's do that now, actually. So it was training. I'm going to edit that profile. Go into my templates, notes templates, go into training, edit that. Depth from and depth to. So let's delete those. Let's just delete one of them. So we've only got one. Log back in. Now, I do find that if you are changing your templates, it's best to erase all the data of the instrument because it can cause some corruption on the files if it's trying to reference data before the change and after the change. So I'm going to go into my browse results. I'm going to select all and delete them. So here we are, notes. We choose the training. We go into depth from, and we can change the start and the increment value. That's ready to go. So my next reading will be updated with that information. And in the export template, I can go to my main menu, go to export settings. Same again, choose the new template to use. And that is how we create and edit our notes and export templates. Thanks for watching.